I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're traveling beyond time and memory with Charmian Redwood. She has penned a wonderful book. It is called Coming Home to Lemuria. Through past life regression and hypnosis, this book offers a rare glimpse into Lemuria, a civilization built on love, unity, and divine manifestation. Rediscovered in our modern age, these ancient truths offer guidance and hope as we raise our consciousness and reconnect with our true purpose on Earth. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing our amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Charmian, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan. Thank you for inviting me.
Wonderful book, intriguing, no doubt, and filled with hope and promise. What first led you to explore past life regression and Lemuria?
Well, the past life regression came first. I was very interested. Well, actually, I had a near-death experience, and I went to meet myself as I really am, as in the oneness, at home, in the light, in the love. Met myself, completely changed my life. So when I came back, this was through I was severely had blood poisoning after my twins were born. And when I came back into my body the next day after going home into the light, I was not the same person. There was no me. There was no my life, my career, my goals. I just knew that there was something going on in this planet that's a lot more than I was aware of. And I wanted everybody to have the experience of their true self, which is not the body, it's not the mind, it's this amazingly powerful being of light. So I created this way of using hypnosis. I call it authentic self hypnosis, to take people to do exactly what I did, to go home, to go into the light, to meet themselves in all of their magnificence. So I started doing that. I've been doing that for 40 years. And then when I moved to Hawaii in 2006, all of my clients, all of my friends I was doing sessions with, we just were taken back to Lemuria. And until then, I really knew very little about it because not much has been written. But after I'd done all these sessions in regression, got all this information about Lemuria that I didn't know, nobody else knew, I was guided to write it into a book. So that's what I did.
Tell us at home, for the people who are watching, a little bit about Lemuria. What's this all about? That's what I'm sure a lot of people are
well,
questioning.
it was the first civilization on this planet, and it was before Atlantis. Now, everybody knows Atlantis, and a lot has been written about Atlantis, but Lemuria was where the Pacific is now. And it's all the islands, the Pacific Islands, west coasts of America, north, south, going over to Australia, Thailand, India. They were all part of Lemuria. And in the beginning, that civilization was before what we now call the fall. The fall was when we disconnected our own, we were connected by a golden cord to our own divine essence. Well, in Lemuria, we made the choice to disconnect, to experience separation for the first time. But before then, in Lemuria, we lived in love, in harmony, in peace. We lived to serve. We could manifest anything that we wanted simply by thought. So there was no lack. There was no having to work hard for things. So all we did was, how can I help you? What can I do to make your life happier and better? So we lived in love, harmony, and peace. And there was no pain. There was no pain. It was just paradise. It's what the Bible really, when they're talking about the Garden of Eden, I think they're really talking about Lemuria.
Amazing. What lessons from Lemuria do you think are most important for us in today's world?
That community is everything, family, connection, taking care of the planet, taking care of everybody and everything. And you can tell the people who are Lemurians, because there are a lot of old souls on this planet who
Mhm.
were the original seeds of Lemuria, is that they're very interested in service. I call
Hmm.
it love, service, and devotion, LSD. That,
That's good way to remember it, that's for
thank you.
sure. Yeah, a very trippy way to remember it, no doubt. Let me ask you this. What role does vibration and frequency play
Oh,
in reconnecting with our divine essence?
everything. That's what the planet is being lifted back into love. And this is what I realized when I came back from heaven, when I was had my near-death experience, that this planet has a plan that is lifting it back to love. So it's all about frequency. And
Hmm.
the only job that any of us has right now is to raise our own vibration. No matter what is happening on the planet, who's in the White House, what your neighbors are doing, doesn't matter. Your job is to be the best that you can be to raise your vibration. Because what I'm always being told is that when enough people on the planet are vibrating at a high enough frequency of pure love, unconditional love, then we will lift the whole planet back to
Yeah.
love, harmony, and peace. That's the plan. It's a cycle. We began in love, we went down. We chose, we were never thrown out of the garden. We
Hmm.
walked out of the garden because as a soul, we wanted to grow much faster. And the way to do that is to experience suffering. So that's what we've been doing for the last 30, 40, 50,000 years. Lemuria was kind of out of chronological time,
Hmm.
so it was a different dimension, and then it became physical. And so what's happening now is in the book, it's the last chapter called The Return, that all the old Lemurians are here, we're all here again, because we have the codes. We've already lived in oneness, and we have the codes to lift this planet back into light, love, harmony, peace. So
Right.
each one of us can start right now. We don't
Yeah.
have to wait for everyone else to wake up. We just
Yeah.
start by being kind to
Yeah.
our neighbors, to the checkout girls, to the guy at the gas station, the little people, the people that just do the same job every day, working long shifts, boring work. I'm so grateful to all of those people.
Yeah. And every time you're kind to someone else, it brings you joy as well. So it's really an easy thing to do. Just be a kind, nice, considerate person to people, and the rewards are, exponential, no doubt. Talk to
Mhm.
us about what it means to be love in practical, everyday terms.
I will give you an example. I moved into a new home last year, and my neighbor opposite was politically different
Hmm.
belief to me. So she called me over one day and she said, "Are you a liberal?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "We don't want your British socialism here." And she wouldn't speak to me for 6 months.
Wow.
But me and her dog, who is always out on her porch, we love each other. So
Yeah.
I would go over and I would talk to the dog, pet the dog. And then my two granddaughters, I have three, but two of them went over, and they just loved that dog.
Mm,
And they built a bridge. This
right.
woman melted
Yeah.
because of my little granddaughters who were 5 and 7 at the time.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
She ended up having them for 3 hours every day on her deck, giving them
Wow.
lemon because they were so kind to her dog. So now her legs, my neighbor's legs got very bad because she's old
Mm,
and she can't walk her dog. So now I'm walking her dog every day
that's great.
and she just loves me.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's
within
wonderful.
because I was not going to go there with the I hate you because you don't vote for the same thing. The
Yeah.
sign in my garden says community, kindness, and humanity.
Yeah.
Not this is who I vote for. So you see,
Exactly.
whatever the situation, I always say, what is the opportunity here?
Hmm.
How can I
Absolutely.
use this to spread more love? So people that don't like us,
Yeah.
we built the bridge. And these are the message. I do a lot of channeling, and the biggest message is we need to be building bridges, not walls.
Yeah.
Anywhere,
Absolutely.
everywhere.
Absolutely. I also think dogs are great ambassadors. I mean, if you want to embody the essence of goodness, kindness, loyalty, courage, and even humanity, look no
Mhm.
further than a dog.
Absolutely.
And you see all of the great examples in that because nothing loves you more unconditionally than your dog. So I'm glad it helped to build bridge a gap between you and your
Mhm.
neighbor. And it is such a silly thing that, you like Trump and I like Bernie Sanders or whatever it might be, and now we hate
Mhm.
each other. I mean,
Right.
that's silly. It's just silly
Mhm.
because, every one of my friends comes from every different religion, political perspective, it doesn't matter. We all want the same thing. We want
Mhm.
peace, prosperity, happiness. We want what the Lemurians had,
That's right. Yeah.
right? I mean, when it all comes down to it, that's
Mhm.
paradise lost, right?
It is, and we're there's so many people on this planet right now because nearly everybody who's ever been here is back
Yeah,
because this is the end party. This is the celebration of all of the lives of suffering, the sacrifices that we've made in past lives. It all ends now because this is where we get to drink the champagne and have a big party. So we can be living that right now,
exactly.
anywhere, wherever we
Well, it's
just.
basically existentialism in a way. I mean, we can make our
Mhm.
heaven or hell here on earth depending
Absolutely.
on how we act, who we surround
Mhm.
ourselves with, and whether or not we give that love and that kindness to strangers and people we meet in the store and the next door neighbor and all of that. It's so important, I always felt, to be a good neighbor, and I try to be a good neighbor because
Mhm.
that's literally who you're surrounded by, your
That's right.
neighbors.
Yeah.
So lots of great lessons in this book. I'm so happy you wrote it. If there's one thing viewers and readers take away from your book, what do you hope it is?
Well, there's always hope. No matter what things look like on the surface,
Yeah.
there is always hope. And I have to tell you, I wrote a second book because I wrote the Lemuria book, and I was getting these emails from people all over the world saying, well, it doesn't feel like paradise. I feel quite overwhelmed. Is there any point to all of this? And I asked my guides, what do I tell these people?
Mm,
And they said, show them where we're going.
mm,
So I did a whole series of sessions of progression going into the future. And
wonderful.
everybody saw the same thing. We were living in communities much more connected with our neighbors, big communities spreading out, connecting with each other, and everyone just being kind, helping one another, but living more simply than we
Yeah.
are now.
Exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of the progress, so-called, that we've made over the last half century of, suburban sprawl, that you can only access things by car, that people are living in gated communities. I mean, I think a
Mhm.
lot of those gates and those cars and huge McMansions need to go away, and people need to live in little communities again where they know their neighbors, they know their shopkeepers, they have a little bit of peace on. Anyway, that'd be my idea of
Mhm.
of a wonderful place, right?
And funnily enough, ironically enough, that's what COVID was all about. When I asked
Right.
what COVID was for, it said because our values have got to me, it's
Mm.
about the stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's about the people and the planet and the animals. And that's why COVID was literally meant to stop us in our tracks
And it did, and
and
it
make
changed
us
some things.
value what's really important. So it
Yeah.
was a gift. Everything
Yeah.
is a gift, no matter
Agreed.
what it looks like on the outside. Everything is a gift.
Oh, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times, COVID, no doubt. And
Hmm.
certainly the good ramifications of COVID are still there, that people are working differently, that they're realizing that, it's not all about the 9 to 5.
Hmm.
Obviously we do, many two people have to work to get by, but you don't have to, you can work to live, but you don't have to live to
Right,
work.
right,
And that's
yes.
important. Wonderful. The name of the book is Coming Home to Lemuria.
Yeah,
It
and
is a heartfelt and healing return to the wisdom of love, unity, and divine purpose. It's a beautiful read. It'll change the way you look at the future and the way you look at the past. Thank you so much for joining me here today, Charmian.
well, thank you so much for inviting me, Logan. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you.
It's been a great pleasure having you on the show. I appreciate your insight and your wisdom. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.